Welcome back to TVG's on-site coverage at Belmont Park. It is Belmont weekend, but the weekend has changed dramatically. If you're joining us for the first time, we broke the news just about 10 minutes ago. I'll Have Another will be scratched from the Belmont, and now the question is, will he ever race again? We are here just off the paddock, and we welcome onto our stage MHoppert, who is working for the New York Times and their racing blog. You do a fantastic job there, by the way,
Thank
Melissa.
you.
So how surprising was this news to you?
Shocking, especially because I was at the O'Neill barn this morning, and there was no indication of any of this. They were happy, they were smiling, we were with Lava Man, everything was great. And that was just about 45 minutes ago. So, it's completely shocking to me. I can't believe it. It's so sad.
And when you look at how the week has played out, and really the 3 weeks since the Preakness, the scrutiny that Doug O'Neill has been under, the changing plans for the horse on the backside, you've been following this all week long. Was it real chaotic back there for I'll Have Another the week leading up to the Belmont and obviously this?
I'm not sure exactly how the security barn was. They weren't really letting people near it. They said there was a media area, and there kind of was, but whenever you would ask any kind of questions, it was strictly off limits. So I really haven't been over by the security barn. I couldn't really speak to that.
And as far as your best estimation, since you live around here, how's this going to affect tomorrow? Are people just going to decide, well, I'm not coming out to the race?
I mean, it's going to be huge, and I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed, but I think there's still going to be a lot of people at the racetrack. Every year that I've been here, when there hasn't been a Triple Crown on the line, there's still been a really good crowd, and there's still a festive atmosphere, and there's still really good horses running.
I mean, you work for a mainstream newspaper. I mean, what would this have done for us? Well, we're on the inside looking out.
Right.
You have the perspective of being somewhat on the outside looking in. What would this have done to the mainstream fan if I'll Have Another won the Triple Crown? Or would it have just been the status quo? Would he have had to stay in training next year for it to really pick up some momentum?
No, I think it would have been huge. I mean, look, it's been since 1978, and that's a huge thing anyway, regardless. But all the Doug O'Neill stuff and the violations, but I could tell, people were still excited, and a lot of the people who are inside the racing industry, I talked with Patrice Wolfson, who, was a co-owner of Affirmed, and she was so excited, and she was so happy to be here, and you could tell there was a lot of excitement. A lot of people I know were coming, a lot of people from New York.
But do you think ultimately these last 3 weeks are going to be looked at as a negative impact for the sport because there was so much talk about Doug O'Neill's violations? Now you have the horse scratching. So do we have any positive momentum from these last 3 weeks, or do you think it's trying to be negative?
I think this is one of the worst things that could happen to the sport.
Yeah.
Especially with the comments that we get on the blog and everything. You have people who are the horse romantics and the true horse racing fans, and then you have the people who are kind of on the fringe, don't know a lot about the sport, and want to embrace it, and then something like this happens. It was the same thing with 8 Bells. It was the same thing with Big Brown. It's like a nightmare. I can't believe it's really happening,
Yeah, I think we're still trying to just get our minds wrapped around this, Matt, that it would happen so close to the race.
It's been 4 years. Again, to bring a little bit of levity to what's going on right now, I don't know if I can schedule you for this program again, because the last time you were on was Big Brown in 2008, and here we are at it again. Yeah, your editor of the New York Times racing blog, otherwise known as The Rail. First of all, for most of our viewers out there, what is The Rail exactly, and what have they been saying on The Rail? I'm sure you've been monitoring it since this news came out in terms of I'll Have Another not competing in the Belmont tomorrow.
The Rail is the New York Times horse racing blog that we started in 2008, the year of Big Brown. And we've gotten a really great response from it. We get a lot of comments, a lot of interaction. We invite people from the horse racing community to submit essays. And we also have, our Times reporters reporting news. We really haven't had anything on we just put something up real fast.
Okay.
We really haven't had a lot of comments yet. It's just kind of went down. But the last time I was here, we had Casino Drive was scratched. And I said, oh, Big Brown's still going to do it. He's going to win. And then, what happened. So what a nightmare.
Well, so who do you think now is the favorite for the Belmont?
I really like the Union Rags. I still like him. And I think Johnny Velasquez, putting him on him, I think that this might be his race. We've said it all along. The Florida Derby, he's going to do it. And then he doesn't do it. And Breeders' Cup Juvenile and the Kentucky Derby, but I still really like him, and I think the change to John Velasquez is really going to help.
Yeah, he trained really well this morning, according to reports. You know, he usually gets a little hot and washy, but he looked fantastic out on the racetrack this morning.
And Melissa, for those who want to check out the blog, where do they go?
NewYorkTimes.com/sports. There's a little link to the blog, or you could just go right to the blog, nytimes.com/the rail.
Melissa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I wish you were
Thanks
under
a lot.
better circumstances.
Oh, I know. I agree.
Yeah, we had this interview scheduled with Melissa, and it was all going to be about I'll Have Another and all the series of guests, and it's still going to be about I'll Have Another, but it's going to be about why he scratched. And again, once that press conference happens, we will get you to it, Maddie, and we'll have more information for you.